Now to Austria, where the Green Party is questioning Chancellor Sebastian Kurz's ability to stay in office one day after he was placed under investigation on suspicion of bribery. The Greens are the junior party in the country's coalition government, and speaking today, the Greens leader and Vice Chancellor Werner Kogler said, "We cannot go back to business as usual." Well, to talk a bit more about all of this with me, let's bring in Anthony Mills in Vienna. Anthony, there's been a real change in the position of the Greens at the moment. What more can you tell us about that?
It certainly has changed fundamentally overnight. Yesterday, the Greens were still saying that the measure, if you will, of the crisis was the ability or not of the government to act and to continue operating effectively. And Werner Kogler, the head of the Green Party, yesterday was still saying that he saw that to be the case. He didn't see the government in any way meaningfully prevented from continuing to operate. Today, a very different story. He's saying, at least with respect to the Chancellor himself, Sebastian Kurz, who, as you've noticed, is the centre of these allegations, he says that the Greens are concerned that the Chancellor is not in a position to carry on heading a government. And it's important to note a subtle but very important point of difference here. On the one hand, the government as a whole, there's a sense that the Green Party would like to remain in government because they're concerned that early elections would be won again by the People's Party, and any new government, they might not control the Justice Ministry. But a difference between staying in government and continuing to work with the person of Sebastian Kurz as Chancellor. And it appears as though there may be a hope that Sebastian Kurz, the Chancellor, steps aside for a period and that somebody takes his place to continue in this coalition government as a placeholder, if you will, while these investigations are carried out and until a decision is made as to whether or not Sebastian Kurz will actually be charged.
Anthony, just how serious are these allegations against Sebastian Kurz? Tell us a bit more about them.
They are extremely serious. They come on the heels, of course, of his being placed under investigation in another matter, which involves allegations that he lied to a parliamentary committee looking into issues of corruption that arose as part of a sprawling investigation that followed a video, as some of our viewers may recall, 2 years ago or so, of the then Vice Chancellor having a discussion with somebody who he believed to be the niece of a Russian oligarch and appearing to offer dubious trade-offs. That 2 years ago caused an investigation, and Sebastian Kurz already under investigation following the parliamentary committees looking into those allegations. And now this is very serious because it appears to be a case of the people around Sebastian Kurz, allegedly, and he as well, in essence, paying a tabloid newspaper to run manipulated polls that favoured his party and favoured Sebastian Kurz and his desire to take over the party and ultimately become Chancellor of Austria. And they carry years long in jail if they are ultimately proven in court. So the allegations are very serious, and it may very well have been that overnight, when Werner Kogler and the leaders of the Green Party talked to people further down the pole, as it were, but still important players, regional heads of the Green Party in the various states of Austria, and they said, look, we can't return to business as usual. Kurz is not in a position to continue, and that may account for the quite significant change in tone on the part of the Vice Chancellor, Greens head Werner Kogler.
Anthony, thank you for that. Anthony Mills there reporting for us from Vienna.